Experience 21st century learning. Experience friendships that last a lifetime. Experience the world through international opportunities at West Virginia State University. Experience a dynamic learning environment with over 80 areas of study, intimate class sizes, and affordable tuition. West Virginia State University. Experience the power of education.
West Virginia State University, where community leaders are developed.
Welcome back to the Coach's Corner. We are here now with softball head coach Bob Allen. Thanks as always for coming on the show, Coach.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you here. Your team right now is sitting 18-8, 3-1 in conference play. How do you feel your team's played so far?
Pretty well. I think we ought to be 22-4 or 22. You know, I just think that we've given a couple one-run games away, but 18-8's not bad, and they played well over spring break, so I think we're ready to get into conference.
Now let's talk about the spring break trip a little bit. A team fared fairly well over that break. I know you split at least with everybody that you faced. So how did you feel your team handled the 19 games in 10 days?
I was surprised they played as well as they did, because I felt like when we got down to the last, like Pfeiffer and Winston-Salem State, that they wouldn't have their legs, but they did. We split with Winston-Salem, but we knocked the cover off the ball. It was just one of those days where it went straight to somebody every time. So, you know, I think we had 3 splits, and everybody else we swept.
Now, how do you keep the team fresh? I know you have to be creative where you play certain players in the outfield and your pitching staff and all that. How do you keep everybody fresh during that stretch?
Well, it starts back here in the gym with Coach Blackwell. You know, she is phenomenal. She gets these kids in fantastic shape. And then as the season gets closer, we taper off just a little bit, but she keeps them toned. And I was just extremely pleased. Now, you know, Maddie we've had to use quite a bit, and then we lost Brittany Blanton with a broken finger against Winston-Salem State. She's out for the year. We're going to try to get her a medical red shirt. She was coming on really strong. So when that happened, I don't want to catch Poppy Ramey every game. I want her to have some legs. So we moved Maddie in from center field, and there'll be days when Poppy's got to catch both games. But Maddie's pretty much a utility player. We can put her anywhere we want to, and she can play the position. And
there's a couple players you have like that, and that's got to be a huge luxury to be able to kind of fill people in where you need them.
Well, Kayla Sturm's the same way. We can put her anywhere we need. She's actually an outfielder, but she has become so good at third base. I don't think there's a better third baseman in our conference than Kayla. She hits well. She feels well. So we got some depth. Our kids on the bench can play when we need them to. And when we do that, we don't drop off at all. I mean, we've got, well, now we have 13 since we've lost Brittany. We've got 13 kids that can play softball.
Yeah, and that's been definitely a big strength. This team, definitely the additions, the freshman additions have been a big story this year. You got players like Weinkoff and Maddie Best tied with the team lead in home runs. How's the freshman staff come in and played for you?
They're great. Marlena and Jade are freshman pitchers. They've got some things to learn. It's a big adjustment. In Canada, they don't have high school softball. It's club softball. So they're playing in the middle of the summer instead of in the spring. So it's a big adjustment to come out of high school and face the kind of hitters they face at this level. And they're both making strides towards improving, and I think they're just like Kelsey and Sarah were. They had to grow up a little bit, and that's what they're doing right now.
Yeah, and you talked about, you brought it up. Kelsey and Sarah did a great job for you last year as freshmen. This year they're sophomores, and we hit on that a little bit on last time we had you on, how they've improved from their freshman to sophomore season. A big story has been, as it is every year, making up the games that you miss because of weather. And how do you think that's going to affect the season as it plays on, as you've had at least 5 or 6 games, I think, called because of weather?
Well, it's gonna really hurt going into the tournament, because they have a makeup rule that you have to make up the games in the order that you lost them. Well, technically, you could have to make up a game 5 different times before you played one of your other makeups. So what's going to happen is there's going to be some teams go into the tournament ranked higher than they really should be because they haven't been able to play the games, and it's not their fault. I think probably we need to think about going to divisions. But at any rate, I've just told my girls we got to play the games we got left, the ones we can, and when we go to the tournament, if you want to go somewhere, you got to win it. And that's what we're trying to do right now.
Yeah, exactly. And those conference tournaments, so important. As you get your team headed in that direction, how do you feel that your team, as you just started conference play, you just got your first taste of against Fairmont State and Addison Broadus, and you start off 3-1. How'd you feel your team started in conference play this weekend?
Pretty good. I was disappointed in the loss to Alderson Broadus in the second game. Our pitching wasn't where it should have been, and Kelsey's on fire right now. She's 9-0. Her ERA just keeps dropping. And our other 3 pitchers, Sarah and Jade and Marlena, know that they've got to step it up a little bit and give me some innings in the second game. And, you can't judge what's happened all year by one game, but they know that I've got to get more consistency from them, and they've got to be able to give me at least 5 innings in a game. And they will. They will. We had a big talk yesterday. I think things are going to be fine, but they understand, what I want from them, and I think they'll produce.
Kelsey, you brought her up. Kelsey Lorraine threw a no-hitter on Sunday against Alderson Broadus, and that was just a great performance. She pitched around a couple of batters, but when it was all said and done, gave up no hits, and I know that was a great moment for the team. Yeah,
and I didn't even realize she had pitched a no-hitter until after the game, and she'll tell you this, she had 5 walks in the game. And you can't defense walks. And we're always on our pitchers, you can't walk batters. Well, she walked 5 and still had a no-hitter. She's amazing. She's 5 foot tall. A lot of colleges wouldn't even talk to her because of her height. And I'm telling you, when she's on, she is hard to hit. I'm glad she's here at West Virginia State.
She proved that certainly on Sunday. Very impressive performance. And as you mentioned, we were broadcasting the game, it kind of went unnoticed to us at first, at least, that it was a no-hitter also. The Fairmont State, it was an exciting 2 games there. You got a 5-0 win in Game 1. Lorraine pitched a very good game there. Sturms hit a home run. Harper was 2 for 3. And then you have, in Game 2, you win 3-2 in a nail-biter. It came down to the bottom of the 7th inning.
Last out.
Just kind of take us from there. You have Maddie Best at the plate. What's going through your head at that moment?
Well, I'm just about ready to start playing extra innings, because now the tiebreaker starts in the 8th. And, I think Maddie had a ball and a strike on her, and the kid threw her outside, and Maddie went down and got the pitch. And Maddie's good about her home runs. A lot of times will go to right center, and that's what happened. I was looking at the scorebook, and I was just hoping when I looked up that it would get out, and it did, and it was a tremendous win for us. Fairmont State has a great softball team. They were second in the conference last year. Be one of the tougher teams this year, and just a great win. A lot of people there. A little bit cold that day, and as a matter of fact, I think you're the one that told me that she might have pitched a no-hitter. And when I looked at the book, you were right.
Yeah, I had an idea after that game, but I had one marked as a ball, but I didn't write walk on it, so I thought it might have been a hit. So I was unsure. Yeah. But she did get her no-hitter. It's on the website there. They gave her credit for that. Now we talk about players you're recruiting. You got a player from Canada, 2 players from California. So just how do you get players like that? I know you don't go watch games in California necessarily. How does that happen?
I got Jade through a recruiting site. I watched her and saw her video, and I liked her. And she went to West Florida the day before. She visited here, and West Florida's a big school and down in Florida. And I said, boy, I don't know, well, we got a chance to get her or not. And she came here, and we fell in love with her, and she loved us, and she was ready to sign that day. The girls from California, there's a coach named Coach Diffie, was the high school softball coach there, and he played football at West Virginia State. So he called me up about Kayla Stearns and said, there's a little kid out here that's a player, and nobody's looking at her. Would you, and she's the first kid I ever flew in here, and because we don't have a great recruiting budget, and she fell in love with it, and she came, and then we got Maddie from the same high school, and we just signed another kid from out there that's close to the Hemet High School, and right now she's hitting .545, has 14 stolen bases.
Wow, that's a great job. The freshmen coming in, players from outside the state coming in, playing extremely well. It's been great to watch the team this season, and best of luck to you as you move forward.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming on the show. All right, The Lady Jackets play 10 road games in the next 7 days before returning home on April 16th when they host Bluefield State. That does it for another episode of the Coach's Corner. Thanks to our guests Jade Weinkoff, Maddie Best, and softball head coach Bob Allen. To follow all WVSU athletics, just go to WVSUYellowJackets.com. For all of us here at the Coach's Corner, I'm Scott Wagner, and we'll see you next week.